Hello, amazing teachers. We've got a lesson here from the life preparation lessons, Diligence in Missionary Work. Knowing that we are striving to be Christ-centered in our teaching, I thought that I could offer an activity that might help the lesson start a little bit more Christ-focused and a little bit more active. Notice that the lesson is really going to focus around this amazing story from Elder Uchtdorf related to missionary work and how it ultimately affected his life. This is wonderful. But down here is the first time that we have a real focus on Christ in the lesson. Discuss how Jesus Christ is an example of being diligent. Well, that might come out of the blue a bit. At the end, we ask the question, how will diligence help me become more like the Savior? So to tie those together, I think we should take a look at diligence as a Christ-like attribute right at the beginning of the lesson before we start with this wonderful story from Elder Uchtdorf. So let me share with you this resource from the church's website. It talks about diligence as a Christ-like attribute. Getting to know Christ, he is diligent. Now, it doesn't give any scriptural examples of these traits, so I thought, why not take these and have your students look for answers? So right here, when we are diligent, and it gives these 5 characteristics of being diligent. Find joy and satisfaction in doing God's work, or focus on the most important things. Don't give up when things get hard. Put those up on the board or in a handout or on a slide. You don't need to include this parenthetical. That would give them too much of a head start. Put them into groups and have them each pick, I would say just pick one of these and try to find an example in the life of Jesus Christ where that's the case. Now, depending on your time, you could have them actually look up a scriptural reference of Jesus Christ focusing on the most important things or praying for guidance and strength. Or you could just have them come up with a situation. Maybe we don't want to take too much time to have them hunt the actual verses down, but maybe they can think of something in Jesus Christ's life. If that might be challenging, I would encourage you to have them go through their New Testament and look at chapter headings on, let's say, Luke or Matthew. I would say just pick one of the Gospels and flip through the chapter headings to try to remind them of events in the life of Jesus Christ. Your kids, maybe they'll know right away some examples, but those might be ways to help them out. We don't need to spend tons of time, but if we can see where Christ, right at the beginning, and this is getting them active and they've got to come up with an answer to present. If we can see Jesus as an example of one or more of these traits, then when we go back to the lesson and we start looking for these Christ-like attributes in the missionaries that are described here, we've already got a connection because we've been thinking of Christ as someone who's the example of diligence. Or when we're looking at questions like Christ's expectations for full-time missionaries, we understand why, because we've seen Christ embody those very characteristics he is asking us to embody. So again, now when we get to discuss how Jesus Christ is an example of being diligent, we already have set the stage for that at the very beginning. Enjoy this lesson. It's going to be wonderful. And students aren't just going to be learning about what it is to be diligent, but the fruits that will come from that, not just for themselves, but how the Lord can use them in the lives of others. May the Lord bless you in this lesson.